What if I told you that the same AI powering ChatGPT is available to you right now through a single API call? No wait lists, no enterprise contracts, just your code talking directly to GPT-4o. In the next 12 minutes, you'll go from zero to making real API calls, streaming responses in real time, and understanding exactly how the billing works so you can build without surprises. By the end, you'll have a working script you can extend into anything: a chatbot, a writing assistant, a code reviewer. Let's build. Here's the thing: most tutorials don't tell you. ChatGPT, the product, and the OpenAI API are fundamentally different beasts. ChatGPT is a consumer product with guardrails, rate limits, and a fixed interface. The API, it's raw power. You control the system prompt, the temperature, the response format, everything. You can build experiences ChatGPT literally cannot do. And GPT-4o specifically is OpenAI's flagship multimodal model. Fast, capable, and surprisingly affordable for what you get. First things first, you need an OpenAI platform account. This is separate from your ChatGPT account, even if you use the same email. Head to platform.openai.com, sign up, and verify your email. OpenAI gives new accounts some free credits to experiment with, though the amount varies. Once you're in, you'll land on the dashboard. This is your command center for API keys, usage tracking, and billing. Now the important part, your API key. Click on API keys in the left sidebar, then create new secret key. Give it a descriptive name like YouTube Tutorial Dev. Here's what most beginners miss. You will only see this key once. The moment you close this modal, it's gone forever. Copy it immediately and store it somewhere secure. A password manager, not a sticky note. If you lose it, you'll need to generate a new one. This key is your identity to OpenAI servers. Let's build. Create a new directory for your project and initialize it with npm. We'll use TypeScript because type hints make the OpenAI SDK much easier to work with. You get auto-complete for every parameter. Install the official OpenAI package. This is the maintained SDK from OpenAI themselves, not a community wrapper. Also grab .env, because we're going to keep that API key out of our code where it belongs. Create a file called .env in your project root. This is where your API key lives. Add it as OpenAI API key equals your key. Now immediately create a .gitignore file and add .env to it. I cannot stress this enough. If you push your API key to GitHub, bots will find it within minutes and rack up charges on your account. OpenAI will usually catch it and revoke the key, but don't rely on that. Environment variables are the standard for a reason. Create your main file, indexed.es. First, load your environment variables with .tenvconfig. Then import OpenAI from the OpenAI package. Creating the client is one line. Just instantiate OpenAI, and it automatically picks up your API key from the environment variable. No need to pass it explicitly, though you can if you want. This client object is your gateway to every OpenAI endpoint. Chat, embeddings, images, audio, all of it. The endpoint we care about is chat.completions.create. This is the same endpoint powering ChatGPT. It takes a model name and an array of messages. The messages array is a conversation history. Each message has a role and content. There are 3 roles. System sets the AI's behavior and personality. User is what your human types, and assistant is what the AI previously responded. For a simple query, you just need system and user. Here's the moment of truth. We call OpenAI chat.completions.create with GPT-4o as our model. The messages array has 2 entries. a system message telling the AI to be a helpful coding assistant, and a user message asking it to explain what an API is. We await the response, then extract the actual text from response choices at index 0 dot message dot content. That nested path is important. The API returns multiple possible completions. We grab the first one. Let's run it. Use TS node to execute the TypeScript directly. After a brief pause, that's the API call happening. You'll see the response printed. And just like that, you've talked to GPT-4o. The response is clean, concise, exactly what we asked for. Notice how the system prompt influenced the output. We said, be concise, and it delivered 2 sentences, not a 5-paragraph essay. But wait, there's more in that response object than just the message. Let's log the whole thing and see what we get. You'll see an ID for this specific completion, the model that actually ran, sometimes OpenAI routes to specific versions, and crucially, the usage object. This tells you exactly how many tokens you consumed. Prompt tokens for your input, completion tokens for the output, and the total. This is how billing works. You pay per token. Let's talk money. GPT-4o charges differently for input and output tokens. As of now, input tokens cost around $2.50 per million. Output tokens cost $10 per million. Our simple call used about 80 tokens total. That's a tiny fraction of a cent. But tokens add up fast when you're processing documents or building chat applications with long histories. The rule of thumb. 1 token is roughly 4 characters in English. Keep your prompts tight and your responses bounded. Here's where it gets interesting. By default, the API waits until the entire response is generated, then returns it all at once. For long responses, that means your user is staring at a blank screen. Streaming fixes this. Add stream, true to your request, and the return type changes. Instead of a complete response, you get an async iterable. Loop through it with for await, and each chunk arrives as soon as GPT generates it. This is how ChatGPT shows that typing effect. Run the streaming version and watch the difference. The text appears word by word, character by character, just like ChatGPT. This isn't just a nice to have. For user-facing applications, streaming dramatically improves perceived performance. Your users see activity immediately instead of wondering if the app froze. The total response time is actually the same. It just feels faster because feedback is immediate. Production code needs error handling. The OpenAI SDK throws specific error types you can catch. API error is the base class. Check the status property for HTTP codes. 429 means rate limited. You're making too many requests. 500 means OpenAI is having issues. Authentication error means your API key is invalid or expired. Always wrap your API calls in try-catch and handle these cases explicitly. Log errors, retry with backoff for transient failures, and fail gracefully for permanent errors. You have more control than just the messages. Temperature controls randomness. 0 is deterministic. 2 is creative chaos. 0.7 is a good default. Max tokens caps the response length, essential for cost control. Top P is an alternative to temperature called nucleus sampling. And response format can force JSON output when you need structured data. These parameters let you tune GPT-4o for your specific use case. A code generator wants low temperature. A creative writing tool wants higher. Real chat applications need memory. The API is stateless. It doesn't remember previous calls. You create memory by including the conversation history in each request. Store messages in an array. Append the user's new message. Make the API call. then append the assistant's response. Each subsequent call includes the full history. This is powerful, but watch your token usage. Long conversations get expensive. Consider summarizing or truncating old messages for production apps. You've got the foundation, but this is just the beginning. The same client gives you access to embeddings for semantic search, DAL-E for image generation, Whisper for speech to text, and the Assistant's API for agents with tool use. The patterns you learn today, messages array, streaming, error handling, apply to all of them. Your next step? Build something real. A CLI chatbot, a code reviewer that runs on your commits, a document Q&A system. The best way to learn is to ship. Let's talk about what's next. Let's recap what you just learned. 1. The OpenAI API gives you full control over GPT-4o through a simple SDK. You set the system prompt, the parameters, everything. 2. Streaming responses create a dramatically better user experience by showing output in real time. 3. Error handling and token awareness are essential for production apps. Always wrap calls in try-catch and monitor your usage. Next up in the AI track, we're building a complete RAG system, Retrieval Augmented Generation, where you'll connect GPT-4o to your own documents and data. That's where things get really powerful. If this video helped you make your first API call, hit subscribe so you don't miss the RAG tutorial. And drop a comment below. What are you building with the OpenAI API? I want to hear about it.